One Piece Manga Chapter 1129 titled Living Dolls. In this chapter, we finally discover who the fake sun god really is. We'll also learn what happened to the Straw Hats and the Thousand Sunny, and how they ended up in the Lego Kingdom. So sit back, relax, and watch right till the end of the video. You don't want to miss a single second of this peak chapter. The cover page of the chapter is the 16th volume of the limited cover story, Oni Child Yamato and the Holy Inari Shrine Pilgrimage. In the previous volume of the limited cover story, Yamato is at the shore eating rice balls with Inuarashi. As the daimyo of Kuri, Inuarashi was deeply concerned about the strange disappearances happening in the region, and he was discussing it with Yamato. This volume continues with Yamato arriving at Amigasa Village. His eyes sparkle with joy as he sees two familiar faces. Yamato is riding on Komachiyo's back, happily waving at Otama and Shinobu. Otama is busy practicing her kunai throwing while Shinobu watches over her. But for some reason, Shinobu doesn't look very happy. Now, here's something you may not know. Shinobu is terribly afraid of pointy objects like kunai and swords. If we go back to chapter 926 of the manga, she admitted this fear to NAMI while they were escaping from the government officials. The two were on a secret spy mission, but they were discovered and nearly caught. Shinobu told NAMI about her fear as they fled from the scene. On another note, Shinobu seems to have returned to her plump figure. In chapter 1115, she was listening to Vegapunk's broadcast alongside Momonosuke, Kinemon, and Otama. The group was eating dango as they pondered about Vegapunk's revelation. At that time, Shinobu's body was noticeably slimmer. This wasn't the first time her changed appearance was addressed. In chapter 1056, Shinobu bursts into the Straw Hats' room while they were discussing Pluton's existence in Wano. She then reveals that her fight with Rokokyu caused her to lose all the extra weight. As the crew processes this news, Sanji's eyes light up with excitement. But while he is stunned by Shinobu's new look, Otama has her own exciting announcement. In the same chapter, Otama tells Luffy and Nami that she's going to become Shinobu's apprentice. She's all fired up and promises to work hard so she can join the crew the next time they meet. While Nami is blown away by how cute Otama is, Luffy makes a deal with her. If she keeps up with her ninjutsu training, she might just become the newest member of the Straw Hat crew. The chapter begins where we left off in chapter 1128. Chaos fills the air as the residents panic. They're trying everything to calm down the furious sun god, but nothing's working. With flames rising from the cracks and the sky looking like it's falling apart, everyone's thinking the same thing. It's the end of the world. As the camera zooms in, the sun god expresses their anger. They call the Straw Hats living dolls and swear they'll never forgive them. Demolishing the temple is the gravest sin they could ever commit. The sun god's anger grows as they mourn the temple guardians. They can't handle the fact that their servants are gone. However, the sun god is stumbling over their words. They almost called the temple his room earlier, and now they nearly refer to their servants as pets. As the sun god grieves, we get a full view of the temple. The Lego pieces are still scattered as the flame continues to spread. Mugen, Halmagunder, and the giant rats are knocked out cold on the floor. The scene shifts to a scat and the Straw Hat Pirates. As they continue their escape, Nami's dripping down with cold sweat. For her, the sun god is just way too scary. Zoro and Chopper feel the same. Zoro even thinks the sun god is more like a demon than a deity. Usopp points his finger ahead. As the tremors in town get stronger, he nervously asks Luffy if everything really is okay. However, Luffy is sparkling with excitement. He's too busy wondering if the whole town is made of Lego blocks. He then orders a scat to jump over the houses. The scat howls as he leaps above the buildings. Shock is etched on the townspeople's faces. They never expected to see the great scat flying through the air. Luffy beams with delight. He believes that the sun god must have put much time and effort into building the country. Despite their ongoing attempt to escape, Luffy tells the crew not to destroy the sun god's hard work. Unfortunately, his cat can't control his landing. The blocks turn into debris as he accidentally smashes the surroundings. In an epic double spread, the sun god's voice booms with rage. They ask Scat to stop, but Scat does not listen. The sun god is completely confused, wondering why Scat is even helping the Straw Hats. Usopp howls with laughter. With Scat's help, he believes they can quickly reach to the edge of this world. But his words confuse Luffy. He glances at Usopp, asking where they are planning to go. Usopp suggests they should follow the blueprints Nami found. But just as he says it, Nami tosses the map. Usopp's features left his face in disbelief. After all, they just lost the map of the block country. But Nami's not worried at all. She smiles confidently and tells the crew that she's already memorized the blueprint. From a scat's back, she urges Luffy to look ahead, pointing at a mirror. The door from earlier is now visible, and if they look closely, the clouds are just balls of cotton. Hearing this, Zoro pieces it together. Even though the place looks vast, it's actually just a giant room. Chopper agrees. Sanji also believes that the horizon is not as endless as it seems. Nami knows that the edge shouldn't be much further. Now all that's left to do is keep moving forward. Finally, the full blueprint of the block country is revealed. Giant mirrors surround the entire place. The Yggdrasil tree is only half of what we thought, and it's sitting way at the back. The town forest fountain lies ahead, while the Big Stein Castle is nearby. Right now, Escat and the Straw Hats are right in the center. They've made it halfway through the country. However, the Sun God won't let them do as they please. They get ready, pulling out a metal net to trap the pirates. If they think that the blueprint shows all the info about the country, then the Straw Hats are gravely mistaken. The Sun God's voice echoes as they reveal the place's true nature. He says it's a giant detention center. Tension builds as the metal net closes in. Zoro flinches as he struggles to process the situation quickly. Meanwhile, Sanji is curious about the way the Sun God talks. It's like he's speaking like a samurai. In the next moment, the Sun God traps Escat and the crew under the massive metal net. Escat lets out a pained cry as the Sun God explains more about the detention center. The facility is designed to ensure no giants escape its walls. Even if the Straw Hats reach the other side, they have no hope of breaking through them. Any way they go is just another dead end. The net's weight temporarily brings Escat to the ground. Luffy yells at him to keep moving, but Escat's muscles just won't respond. Breaking free is harder than they thought. Seeing Escat on the ground, the residents gasp in surprise. They can't believe Escat is carrying the Straw Hats on his back. But Zoro's eyes are darting with restless urgency. For him and Sanji, every second feels like an eternity. They need Escat to hurry up. Both Zoro and Sanji spring into action. In the next moment, they destroy the metal net and free Escat. Zoro slices through it with his sword, while Sanji unleashes a powerful kick. The residents run in fear, their faces filled with a panic. The noise catches the Sun God's attention. They stare in disbelief, shocked that the net was cut apart so easily. Finally, Escat manages to get back up and starts running again. But the Sun God doesn't seem too worried. They think the Straw Hats' resistance is pointless. After all, what's waiting for them next is the domain of the mighty Ear God. Two of the residents watching have no choice but to interrupt. They get the Sun God's attention and deliver the unfortunate truth. A question mark pops up above the Sun God's head as they pause to listen. The men bring terrible news. Earlier that day, they found the Ear God's body burned to a crisp. They still don't know what caused it. They thought their misfortune would end there. But as if that wasn't enough, the sudden cracks in the sky made their day even worse. Little do they know that Luffy, Sanji, and Zoro are behind it all. Not only did they grill and eat another one of the Sun God's servants, but Luffy was also the one responsible for breaking the glass that caused the cracks in the sky. The Sun God's fury is barely hidden behind their mask as they look at the remains of the giant rabbit. A growl escapes their lips, unable to believe the Ear God's defeat against the pirates. They thought there was no way the carnivorous rabbit could be taken down, but now, that rabbit is gone. The image of their beloved rabbit flashes through the Sun God's mind, leaving them in silence. It was interrupted by a man's shout, saying it was too late when they found the Ear God. In the next moment, rings of laughter echo in the kingdom. The Sun God laughs wildly, admiring how lovely and precious the moment is. The Sun God then marvels at the beauty of their world. In their miniature garden, a grand tale is unfolding, coming to life right before their very eyes. The residents of the country could only watch in utter astonishment. They stood frozen, at a loss for what to react. The Sun God admits they underestimated the Straw Hats. Certainly, this development gives them goosebumps. Heroes and villains are finally making their marks in the world they created. The Sun God stares above, spreading their arms. Thrill runs down their veins as they declare to the sky, finally, history is being made. The block country and its living dolls are all part of the beauty they've created. Meanwhile, the residents start planning their escape. Knowing that the sun god is busy, this could be their only chance. One of them whispers that the escape route is open. They need to run away while they still can. Another urges everyone to spread the word so no one gets left behind. As this happens, Luffy wonders why the sun god is laughing. To the sun god, this is all a live drama. Everything is playing out in the palm of their hand. They then shouted at Luffy from afar, mentioning Hadrian's name. Though Hadrian respects Luffy, the sun god doesn't. Still, they're curious to see what Luffy and his crew will do next. For those of you who might not remember, Hadrian is the captain of the new giant warrior pirates. Not only is he an important ally to Luffy, but he has also sworn to lead the 6th ship of the Straw Hat's Grand Fleet. The scene shifts to the Straw Hat Pirates. Now that they've put some distance from the sun god, Usopp just needs to blow the mirror away. He uses his move, Lethal Green Star, Skull Bomb Grass, to open a path. And the next moment, a huge explosion follows. Smoke envelops the area as the sounds of cracks and crashes resound. The sun god shields themselves from the blast. However, Usopp's ability wasn't enough to break the thick walls. Although it shattered the giant mirror, the walls remain intact. But Luffy cannot contain his enthusiasm. His eyes glow with confidence as he steps up, ready to take on the challenge. The sun god giggles at Usopp and the others. They can't help but find this whole scene entertaining. The sun god couldn't get enough of watching weaklings struggle against their fate. Their failure and despair are signs of their inferiority as humans, and it brings the sun god endless amusement. The sun god glances toward the Straw Hats. Despite mocking them, the sun god knows that setbacks and disappointments are the core of great character development. Once again, the sun god spread their arms, shouting to the sky. Although the Straw Hats' efforts seem foolish, the sun god admits they've been moved to tears by their bravery. In the end, they're glad they made their way to this place. But what the sun god says next leaves the Straw Hat Pirates stunned. One by one, the sun god calls out their names. Nami's eyes go wide with disbelief. How could the sun god know their names? Chopper is just as shocked as them. He asks about the strange honorific, Tasso, that the sun god keeps using. In Japanese culture, honorifics are commonly used to address people based on their relationships. Among many honorifics, Tasso is often used to express affection for anime or manga characters. Luffy pays them no attention and decides to break through the giant wall. Activating Gear 4th just in his arm, Luffy stretches it out, ready to punch with everything he's got. Meanwhile, Nami asks Usopp a strange question. She wonders if no one takes responsibility when natural disasters strike. Usopp looks weirded out, but he agrees. Nami's face twists with rage, her frustration boiling over. After everything the sun god has put them through, she can't hold back her anger anymore. Sanji feels the same. He chokes up with emotion as he talks about his own anger. He vows never to forgive the sun god for dressing Nami up when they first arrived here. He's determined to crush the sun god with his own legs. Nami immediately calms him down. After all, she feels that the sun god will soon receive their divine punishment. Their conversation reaches the sun god's ears, but the sun god remains speechless. As they watch a scat, memories of the earlier events start flashing through their mind. The scene shifts to a short flashback. Mugen swoops down from the sky, bringing a gift to the sun god. The sun god curiously wonders what it could be, but their eyes nearly pop out of their sockets when they realize it's the Thousand Sunny. With that, the identity of the fake sun god is finally revealed. It is actually Road. For those of you who might not know, here's a bit of info about Road. He is the navigator of the new giant warrior pirates and a former S-class member of Buggy's Delivery. On the cover page of chapter 898, we see Road holding a map and a long katana. In episode 836 of the anime, he was featured alongside the other members of the new giant warrior pirates. Road's jaw dropped when he saw the Straw Hat Pirates. He thought that the giant warrior pirates were supposed to guide them into Elbaf. But seeing them asleep, Road figured that something must have happened. He ponders for a moment. If they came from Egghead, could it be that they went through the Sleeping Mist Belt? Road's old conversation with Hadrian pops into his mind. He laughs hysterically when he remembers Hadrian joining the Straw Hats' Grand Fleet. Hadrian made the decision for the new giant warrior pirates, but Road wasn't happy about it. As one of Elbaf's strongest warriors, he refuses to follow mere humans. Road then wonders if Hadrian has completely lost his pride. Road holds Nami and Luffy in the palms of his hands. Looking at Luffy, Road can't stop belittling his frail little body. Meanwhile, Nami's sleeping figure brims him with excitement. Nami groans, starting to wake up. Road quickly puts her to sleep and forces the crew to inhale more sleeping gas. A sinister smile creeps across his face as he thinks of his evil plan. When the Straw Hats wake up, they will surely be surprised. The scene shifts back to the present. Road, now revealed as the fake sun god, still feels confident. He's sure the Straw Hats have no idea where they are. In his mind, they're trapped and have no choice but to serve him now. But then, Road notices the sudden shift in weather. Since he didn't cause it, Road wonders what it could be. Little does he know that Nami and Zeus have been setting up the storm. Nami quickly gives Zeus the order. Zeus is absolutely fired up as he charges for the upcoming attack. Road's eyes widen in shock, but it was too late. In the next moment,
Thunder Tempo!
A large thunderbolt strikes. Road screams in pain as the divine punishment electrocutes him. This natural disaster deals serious damage. The townspeople are finding it hard to believe their eyes. After all, their great sun god is slowly falling. Finally, Luffy finished his preparations for his Gear 4th attack. No matter how much he hates it, Luffy bids goodbye to the Block Country. He grins as he starts to unleash the strike.
Gomu Gomu no!
A series of quick glimpses show us a Scat and the Straw Hats' reaction. Now that they're getting out, Zoro looks ready to face whatever's next. Sanji is just glad to be rid of the pervy giant, and Nami smiles warmly at Zeus. At the same time, Usopp and Chopper are praying that the outside world is Elbaf. The Scat's howl signals Luffy's move.
Kongagang!
In an epic final double spread, Luffy unleashes his Gum Gum Kong gun, blowing a hole through the wall. The Straw Hats cheer as they celebrate their freedom. Luffy flashes a big smile. A noise of excitement crosses his lips as he looks at what lies outside. And the chapter ends. What do you think Luffy and the Straw Hats saw? And now that they're free, could the outside world finally be on Elbaf? Let me know your thoughts. I'd love to hear from you, so comment down below. As always, press like if you enjoyed the video. And if you don't want to miss out on future One Piece chapters like this one, definitely subscribe and hit that bell icon. There is no break next week, so I'll catch you all in the next video. Till then, thank you for watching the video, and have a great day, Nakama!